I, as a historian, know there is very little we can say about the next 100 years, let alone 10,000 years for sure. On the other hand, we can say a lot about the last 10,000 years. And actually, it's quite stunning how much more we know now than we did 100 years ago because of the information, the memory technologies that we're inventing now to mine material evidence for information that we never would have thought possible, including DNA forensic analysis. So I want to focus tonight on what we can learn about the future by looking at the past. So I want to say that if you're really interested in the next 10,000 years, you have no better evidence to look to than the past 10,000 years. And that's what I want to talk about tonight. No, the story actually begins a lot earlier than the long now. It begins in the long ago. This is actually, dates from about 40,000 years ago, we think. And I'll talk a little bit more about it. But I think that memory technologies, and in fact, the human species really took a real pivotal turn. That moment, sort of in the Garden of Eden, or at least it was a Garden of Eden moment, when we realized that we're going to die. As far as we know, there is no other species that understands that they are going to die. Not just that their own partners or something dies, their children dies, but that we anticipate that we're going to die. We know that. And I think that it changes everything for the way humans think about time. And I want to talk a little bit more about that. But this is early evidence from long ago, about 40,000 years ago, that human beings, from the very beginnings, became obsessed with cheating death, in fact. And I look at this technology of paint on cave walls as the earliest concrete evidence of cheating death by, in fact, extrapolating the contents of our mental life, our imagination, our sort of spiritual life, and putting it in a safe place. Actually, we're outsourcing it to durable physical objects. And you can see it's very familiar. We don't know what these people are telling us, but we know that they're human. And we know that because they actually signed their own piece of art. I think of this as the earliest kind of, it's a Paleolithic selfie in a way. What's so interesting is that as a species, we are not the strongest, we are not the fastest, and we are not even the brainiest, I hate to say it, but we actually don't have the biggest brains. And we certainly don't live the longest. The one thing that we have is this amazing thing that we have collectively created, which is our collective memory, a kind of collective brain, which is a thing that we keep alive over generations, which makes us able to accumulate knowledge over time. And actually, we are now at this juncture on the planet when we are not only the dominant species on the planet, but through our collective memory and collective brain, we are dangerously dominant over the planet. That's another reason why I think this is a really critical time for us. The sense that we have, the certainty that we are separate from other people, that we're going to die, and this collective memory that we have endowed us with a couple of unique qualities from other species. We have a certain temporal depth perception, which is very deep into the future and very deep into the past. And through this temporal depth perception, we actually can engage in mental time travel. We can deduce what happened in the past, and we can project that into the future. We can engage in conjectural thinking. And through language, in fact, we can engage in what I think of as synchronized mental time travel. No better example is that crew that 18 or 20 years ago started to put together the New Horizons mission to Pluto. And that team, and people cycled in and out of that team at the JPL, that team was engaged in mental time travel, synchronized, for an astounding period of time. And how they ended up actually hitting their target after that, especially after the appropriations scares they received along the way from our friends in Congress, it's really a testimony to how collective action and collective memory really is a very powerful thing.